There are few things more frustrating than wasted potential. And that's the feeling I get coming away from The Woman in Black. It stars Danielle Radcliffe, who you know as Harry Potter, as a man who goes into a village, a community that is experiencing some sort of supernatural event where their children are committing suicide. And it's kind of he's not going there to investigate it. In fact, he's going there to try to sell the house where a lot of these supernatural occurrences are starting. And it's just how he deals with it and how he approaches it and kind of the resulting story. It is supposed to be a suspense and maybe even a little bit of a horror film, but I would say more of a suspense. It's only PG-13, and usually that means more suspense than blood and guts, and that's the case with this one as well. Although plenty of scary moments. When I say that, I mean like those jump scares that happen. But overall, just very disappointing. And I say there's potential here. I really think it boils down to the fact that this should have been a short film. There's not enough here to do a feature-length movie. And so the story is simple enough, but interesting enough, kind of the concept of what's going on, that I think you could maintain my attention for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or 30 minutes telling this story. But to spread it out over an hour and a half was just torturous. It just became way too long. There are two chunks of this movie, and I don't think I'm exaggerating, that have at least 20 minutes of no dialogue, just walking through the house and exploring the house. And I think it's supposed to be suspenseful, but it's too long. I mean, 20 minutes of Danielle Radcliffe walking around and being scared by objects that are moving when nobody's moving them and images that appear in a screen. And so it's like 20 minutes of no talking, him walking for 5 or 6 minutes, and then boo. And then him walking for another 5 or 6 minutes, and then boo. And that's what it is. And it wasn't suspenseful to me. It was boredom followed by heart attack. That's what it was. There didn't seem to be a good feel for how you create actual suspense in a movie like this. And so because of that, it just felt way stretched out and way long. There are two sections like this. I mean, 40 minutes of the movie, almost half of this movie is, I thought I was watching The Artist again. It was a silent film. There was no dialogue. And when there is dialogue, it's not interesting. It's not for long. The conversations are very much expositional. So I just think it's botched in a lot of ways, this story is. And one of them is Danielle Radcliffe. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he's actually a fairly decent actor, and I think he's got some potential in him down the line to play some great roles. But again, here's an example of wasted potential. He doesn't fit this role. He's still too associated with the supernatural already through Harry Potter and with a younger character through Harry Potter for me to fully buy into the fact that he is an older father type character, because he has a kid in this movie who's probably 4 or 5 years old, and I'm just thinking, wait, when did Harry Potter get a 4-year-old? When did that happen? So he needs some distance first, and he needs to grow up a little bit. And it may be a Leonardo DiCaprio thing. He may just always look young, and maybe that's just going to be the case with Daniel Radcliffe. But I think he's a good actor from what I've seen. But in this, he's wasted, and he's A, not given much to do, and B, doesn't fit the role of the person who needs to be in that role of that guy. And the movie centers around him, so that point is a very big point, because he is the focus of this movie. You don't go anywhere without him. He doesn't go anywhere without you in this movie. Overall, The Woman in Black attempts to be a suspenseful movie and unfortunately ends up just being a boring one.